Hey folks, and welcome to the Truck King YouTube channel. This is the 2024 Chevy 3500, and that is a Grand Design fifth wheels. It all belongs to my dad. If you're familiar with the channel, you know this truck and trailer. Well, Dad is just about ready to take off on a long road trip, and we've just done 2 updates to this truck and trailer to make the towing experience that much better. So let's go over them now, and I'll tell you how they work. Just before we hit the road, I figured I would show you the camera back here. This is one of the updates. This allows for GM's transparent trailer and then a couple other views up there in the cab. And you can see it's mounted back here. It gets its own little mount, and it is a wired camera. Now, there is no official recommendations for how you're supposed to run this wire because every trailer is going to be different, right? So in our case, it goes underneath the trailer. I've also seen people run the wire up and over the trailer, and if you're a brave soul, you could even go through the trailer, but then you're going to be putting holes, into your trailer, which I'm not sure that's a great idea. But anyways, the point is, you need to figure this out on your own. You need to look at your trailer, your specific situation, and then decide where you want to run that line. And one of the other frustrating things too is here on the Grand Design, you can see it's pre-wired for a backup camera. There's also a mount up there for it, but that's a Furrion system. So if you use that system, it's closed loop. It needs its own screen. It's not going to integrate with the General Motors system. So GM has to install its own mount for the camera. And it would just be nice if all these brands could get together and allow more integration so it's not all separate. But yeah, that's the way it is right now. And now folks, we're out here for a drive. We've got our camera hooked up. And yeah, we want to show you guys how this thing works in action. And actually, there's the first camera view you can see. When Dad puts his right turn signal on, or left, it shows you down the side of the truck that you're making the turn to. That's awesome, right, Dad, to be able to see your inside wheels on your trailer. And to be clear, this has nothing to do with the camera that was installed. It did this before, but I just love that view. I wanted to point it out.
It's there's so many camera views here. Down each side of the truck, the front, the back. For hooking up, it's particularly with the fifth wheel, it's fantastic. You zoom right in. I can get it right on the pin.
Right.
The big thing with the cameras, in a lot of cases, I mean, they just make normal in-transit driving better, safer. But in a lot of cases, I think, as you just said, no spotter. You don't need the spotter.
Right.
And, without trying to be too much of a wise ass, that also means less yelling, less fighting, less chances of divorce. So the cameras are awesome.
Sure, yeah, at the RV park especially when you're backing in.
Yeah, very much so, which everybody at the RV park knows that's the greatest entertainment, is watching the new guy pull into the park and see how bad he messes it up.
So let's go through the views now. So you can see up here we have the trailering app open. So you click on cameras here. And so there's your transparent trailer view. So it actually shows you kind of the nose of the fifth wheel, but of course you can see right through it, but you can simultaneously see into your bed and see your hitch down there. So what a neat view to be able to see kind of both things at once. And yeah, Dad, you know yourself, if someone is following you too close, you can't see them in your mirrors. They disappear out of your mirrors. So this is always gonna give you that peace of mind of knowing what's right behind you. And of course, we're moving forward right now, but for reversing, even more so, obviously.
Yeah, you know what? The single greatest thing, because in general, most guys who do this, tow will tell you, I don't really care what's behind me because you're going forward. But let's face it, every once in a while, particularly at the gas station,
sure,
you'll get stuck in a situation where, yeah, you do got to back up. Not much, 5 feet, 10 feet. But you know what? You're doing it blind. Because everybody knows you're supposed to park, get out, go look, come back in, get back in, put it in reverse, then back up.
Right.
We just don't do that.
Most people don't.
We trust, and that's a really bad thing. So
Right.
So for that reason alone, I'm really happy to have it.
So let me keep walking you through too, because you can also make this fifth wheel nose here larger or smaller in the image. So that's a little bit bigger. You just get a little bit more here on the edges, or you can go a little bit smaller. Now the other view, which is really neat, is this one right here. So that's simultaneously behind your trailer and then also down the sides of the truck. So once again, if you're down the highway, you can see who's beside you and who's behind you all at the same time. It's almost too much information to process at once. You can also get rid of that and just look down the sides too. And then these are all your sort of standard views, which you had before, down the side, looking down the front of your truck. There's the nose camera. There's the regular backup camera. So these are your 3 views over here, which are made possible by that camera back there. So yeah, Dad, it's hard to complain about more eyes, less spotters necessary, more sight lines. It's all good things.
No, of course. And you know what? It just adds really to the whole suite of towing convenience and help features.
Sure.
A simple thing like the trailer light check, which is an automatic system. Once you're hooked up, you get in, you push the button, and you can walk to the back of the truck. You don't need somebody in the cab anymore to left signal, right signal, etc., brake lights, because it just cycles the lights on the trailer until you tell it to stop. You can go back, you can watch it cycle through left, right, brakes, hazards, etc. So we're getting better and better at creating systems. This is just one more step in making it autonomous, right? Because I come from a time when, yeah, you did it all by yourself, and it was a major pain in the butt. You really needed a spotter. I mean, you know, because when you were like 5 years old, I used to drag you out and go, come here, stand behind the trailer and tell me if the lights come on.
Yeah, absolutely. So the one other thing I'm curious about, Dad, is going to be how that long cable that had to be run is going to hold up. Because in your case, the cable is underneath the trailer, and this can be different for, different owners. Some people might choose to go over the roof. If somebody wanted to get brave and drill into their trailer, you could actually go through the inside as well. In your case, GM Canada did hook it up for us. Now, they don't recommend this officially, but they ran it underneath the trailer. So when you get back from your long road trip down to the southern US, I'm very curious to look at that sort of plastic case the wiring is in and just see how it holds up, because I worry that below the trailer it's going to take a beating, but that remains to be seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the only part of this system right now which I think is weak, which is, quite honestly, in this day and age, I don't know why we can't just have a wireless connection between the truck and that camera,
Yeah.
So at the moment, I mean, hardwired, I get it, it works, but I think moving forward, that's where they got to get to.
Right.
Because the other part of this is that it's unsightly.
Sure. Yeah, it's just one extra wire dangling there, and even the hookup, the light hookup is in the bed, but the hookup for the camera is down at the bumper. So they ran the lines together, but then you have to split the lines. One of them's running up and over the tailgate, so you're also correct. It just kind of looks janky. Now, Dad, the other thing we need to talk about in this video, because the camera is new, but you also got a new pin box installed onto your trailer. So can you speak to your experience with the initial pin box, what went wrong with it, and then what made you go to this new one?
Yeah, we went out to Cape Cod last June, and as we were getting out there, every time I hit the brakes, I was just getting a real bad metallic smash from the hitch. I mean, I knew something was wrong, so when we got to the campground, sure enough, the original factory pin box on this Grand Design uses a 1-inch hard rubber pad in between the top steel plate and the lower steel plate, so it gives it a little bit of a flex. It's meant to cushion the ride on the road. Problem is that thing is glued into place, and as I discovered later on when I did some research, this is a common failing. The glue lets go and the rubber pad starts to work its way out. It just walks out of there. So then it allows steel on steel contact. So when I managed, like most guys, I duct taped the thing back together again, got it home. I called Curt, and they said, it's very common, and a lot of guys are changing these out. So they offered me a new pin box, and it's substantially upgraded from the original, because this one's got the rubber donuts, so we've got an air cushion in addition to a shock. So that's what's riding on there right now. And I mean, I've noticed right away that it has softened the ride, particularly on things like bridges and railroad crossings where you'd really get hard hits. I'm not going to say it's floating on a cloud, but it's enough that I absolutely notice. And it's nice to see the trailer kind of riding, you know, in this very predictable arc. So far so good. Really, really pleased with it. And as a matter of fact, I'll put up the specs for that pin box right here. And I took it into my local RV dealer, and honestly, it wasn't that big a deal to get it swapped out. I think about $300 later, and considering what the friggin' thing weighs, I was very happy for them to do that for me. So, yeah, one upgrade, and we're back on the road.
Yeah, and I said this earlier about the cameras, but Dad's just about to take off for a long road trip down to the southern U.S., so you'll really get a chance to put some miles on it, and, you know, at the end of it, we'll do another report, how the truck held up and how the pin box was.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have lots and lots of mileage, and we'll see what all happens. And then, of course, this is the second winter the truck is heading south, and, yeah, absolutely, I'll be reporting as we go, the good and the bad.
So yeah, folks, you know what? That's it for this one. You know, stay tuned to the channel for more updates. It's going to be a couple months because he's going to be down there, you know, napping and enjoying the warmth for a while. But once he gets back and we put him to work, stay tuned for the updates on the truck. And as always, please drop down below, leave us a comment, let me know what you think about everything you saw in this video. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member. Come right back here to Truck King, see what we're testing next. See ya.
Adios.